And took off the fender. Got the new one. Got the old one over there. My boy, what was your name again? Ariel? Typical Mexican, you know? Nah, we're trying to get this inner wheel well off because it does support the battery, and also we're gonna have to replace it eventually, or just probably patch it up. But yeah, that's the mission for right now, taking this inner wheel well off, and then hopefully we can have that new fender on. And I'm thinking about working on actually getting this scrape off. Obviously that wheel's gonna need replacement. And peep the daily. We got the new bed over there. It's a short bed. Doesn't have much rust, just minor. It's surface rust on this area. The bottom looks really good. It doesn't have the trims, so I'm just probably gonna delete those chrome trims off the whole vehicle. And the goal is to get that new fender installed. We'll probably start messing with the floors as well, and then just mount that bed onto the truck so we can scrap that old bed and not have too many parts everywhere. But so far it's going pretty good. All right, so we went ahead and installed the new fender. I thought it was identical, but well, one, you can tell it's darker, and two, it doesn't have that two-tone that this one has. But yeah, the fender's nice and installed. The gap isn't fully there, but I mean, it's still gonna need adjustments. I mean, this side's looking better already. Now we just gotta work on the door, but I might save that for tomorrow because it's already getting pretty late. And I'm very hungry and haven't ate, so I'm gonna just go ahead and finish reassembling the whole headlight system and putting this chrome piece on. Sorry, I kind of hiccuped. And then it might be a wrap for today, and then tomorrow we can go ahead and start working on removing that bed and just placing that other bed on top of this one. Yo, what's going on, guys? It's a new day. Today we're actually working on switching out the floor panels ourselves. So actually started recording late, but got the door off from the driver's side. And if we can go look over here, we're working on removing the seats. Floor pans do look really bad. We did lose a couple bolts along the way, but I mean, we have some good bolts that I can go buy, purchase some new ones and replace those, so that's not an issue. It looks like we are gonna have to remove the fenders as well, so hopefully we don't have to remove the one I just installed, but we'll have to find out exactly what we do. So boom, got the whole seats out of here, revealing the floors. Luckily these don't look damaged at all. I just need a little quick clean, which we'll probably go ahead and pass the vacuum, clean up all of this, and then bring out the other floor pans that we have right there, and then kind of measure out exactly what we're gonna do. The centerpiece, I think we're gonna keep the same. We'll probably just kind of cut from here or a little bit closer, just depending on where the rust is not as bad. And we'll see how high up we have to go, make sure we have clearance at the bottom, that we're not gonna cut anything that does not need to be cut. As for the rocker panels from the top, they do look pretty solid, but the bottom, they are pretty rusted and beat up with holes, but we might just fabricate something to mimic that. Again, this is budget builds. We're trying to keep this at a minimum. So let's see where we get to next. This thing is way too small to tackle the whole floor. And it's not nearly as powerful either. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna buy one of those attachments for the grinder to go ahead and be able to, you know, get rid of all whatever surface rust and whatever is deep rust. Kind of know exactly, you know, mark up what areas we're gonna get prepped to cut. All right, guys, so that wire brush didn't work out. Bad lighting. That wire brush didn't work out, so we're gonna use this disc right here. It's a 36 grit. Also got a new grinder, have a heavier duty disc on it as well. And we're gonna go ahead and see if this, what it says, polycarbide abrasive wheel actually works and cuts the rust. Let's find out. All right, so you know, as always, Juan's always doing the work. So he's actually working on removing This I don't know if it does not seem to be OEM, but somebody probably patched it up on top with some, what is this, like some aluminum sheet metal? Yeah, some really thin sheet metal. I guess just to kind of really block the rust and whatnot, but we're definitely taking that off. Kind of went ahead and grinded it down to kind of see what has, you know, some okay-ish metal that hasn't been fully penetrated by rust. And I did some on that side. Just trying to figure out how high we have to go. That doesn't seem to be so bad, but obviously that surface rust is gonna have to go. So yeah, we're just carrying on with this right here. So I'll let my man over here get back to work. How's it looking, bro? God damn! Hell yeah! Fucking Fred Flintstone used to own this truck. Damn! So yeah, we're definitely gonna replace that. Obviously. God dang. It's alright, that's for weight reduction, so we'll be hitting the quarter miles like nothing. Alright, so we were looking at exactly how we're gonna approach these cuts, and because of the fact that this rocker panel is all rotted out and the inside, let me get a good angle, it's fairly dark. Let me go turn the flash on. There we go. And because the inside seems to have been replaced, I can tell by this little rivet here, it does not look OEM. It was coated with like some seam sealer type thing. So the goal is now to remove this fender to kind of get better access to this, and that way when we cut under the door hinge, we can replace this. And thankfully, again, the new floor pans, they do have part of the rocker panel which we'll use, and that's the passenger side and this is the driver's side. So thankfully these aren't eaten up. It does have the original inner part as well that was refabricated on the truck, but we don't want to use this door hinge or any of that. We want to cut right under it. But to get better access to all of this on the actual truck, we do need to remove the fender because it does block right here. So that's what Juan is working on over here. I'm gonna go ahead and give him a hand. Since I did take off that fender, I know exactly where the bolts are hitting. So we do have to remove the whole fog light, headlight, the inner wheel well, and then just kind of move some stuff around. I'm gonna take the fender off. Check this out. Well, we took the fender and the wheel well off because a lot of the bolts are kind of like not wanting to come out. So we'll deal with that later. But yeah, the fender's off, which gives us better clearance here. And this doesn't look to be too bad. We're just gonna have like some rust and gunk and whatnot, but that's the least of our worries. We can always fabricate something else that doesn't look too complicated there. But anyways, back to this. Again, our cut, we are wanting to do it right under the door jamb, just to kind of keep this already on there because it's what the other doors used to, so it'll be easier for us. We might just cut down here, or we're gonna try to, I don't know, maybe somewhere along here because this is pretty bad. And we want to keep the cut fairly straight. We don't want to kind of like zigzag it too much or anything like that. But it looks like we might have to do this in parts. We might just focus on this part and then do the inside, or we'll see what kind of best suits us. But we can go ahead and take some quick measurements, kind of find out exactly what we're gonna cut, mark it on this panel and then on the actual floors that we have over there. And from there we'll go ahead and hopefully start replacing this whole floorboard right there. So we ended up using this little nice tool right here. Kind of just lift up all the gunk, and look, it lifts up that old rust like nothing. So we're just gonna kind of use it to kind of give us a little border output of what exactly still has good metal that we can weld onto. And kind of with the tape, kind of like how I did here, just mark off where we're gonna cut with the grinder. All right guys, so we kind of not in a fancy way, but with the black spray paint, just kind of give us an idea of where we need to cut. But keep in mind that this is still a smaller area than the actual floor pan. That way we kind of have some wiggle room. But here we'll initiate the cut. We got most of the cuts going in there. They're not perfect, but we're not really looking for perfect, just kind of something to kind of get it off. Got the upper one, got this one right here, and the one that goes through the rocker panel. We're working on this cut, and then we gotta finish off with this one, and that should kind of give us some room to take this off, and then we'll just place this one over the new one, I'm sorry, kind of get us an idea, cut it, chop it up, and slap it on. Alright guys, so it wasn't as easy as we pictured to take the freaking floor off. But yeah, as you can tell, we got most of it coming up. It's just that some of it was kind of spot welded to these frame rails, which we kind of saw from that other floor, but they just kind of cut through the frame rails and threw them in. Or I'm not exactly how they tackled it, but it doesn't look like they did what we did. And because it was all rusted out, it's all coming off in pieces. As you can tell, it's not just mostly coming off. Thankfully, the passenger side is not as bad, so we won't have to go through all of this, but it's definitely a learning experience. We went ahead and took off the rocker panel, well, this section at least, and there's a chance that we might have to just chop this off and use the one from the other, from the donor floor, because it is pretty beat up. Just look at all this, it's all rusted out. As you can see, just layers of rust and rust and rust. I'm actually debating on, actually no, I think we might actually go ahead and pick up an air chisel, because I definitely think it would help us out in this situation here, because we're doing it the old-fashioned way with an actual nail or an actual chisel and a sledgehammer right here, but it's not as efficient. Kind of banged up my fingers a couple times, so probably go pick up an air chisel, and I believe it'll help us tackle this a lot better. Finally managed to cut out a good amount. It's not that pretty, but we just wanted to get rid of anything that was rusted out. I actually took off the little supports from the bottom of this floor off of that one, so that it's just like the upper top layer, and we're gonna go ahead and mark it down with some tape, kind of write down exactly where is it that we want to make our cut, so that this one looks a lot nicer. And we're just basically gonna cut this and make that one panel, then take it over to the side and start seeing exactly what we need to trim on that rocker panel side and this area where the pedals go. So a quick little change of plans. We decided to kind of do it by parts. We're gonna go ahead and probably do the floor pan first. Notice how it does overlay, and that's because we wanted to have support from here and here when we do the welds. This looks to fit up fairly well. Obviously, we're gonna make it look a lot prettier. The rocker panel though, as you can see, I did have to kind of rip it off, so we might probably order the whole rocker panel set. Fitment up there fits fairly nice. Our main concern is probably just getting this done right now, and we'll probably focus on the other floor another day, because it is a tougher job than we anticipated. Alright guys, so I managed to go ahead and kind of get it welded on. Well, it is welded on, not kinda. Well, no, yeah, let's say kinda, because these welds are not the best welds. But again, I'm not a professional welder, and we are using a Chicago Electric Welding Flux welder, so you know, these are not the prettiest welders out there, but hey, again, this is all about budget builds. So I've never really welded anything ever in my life, so this is my first attempt. It took me a while to get the hang of it, but I managed, and we managed again to go ahead and just get some tack welds in around the whole edge perimeter of it. Yeah, exactly, it's extremely messy. Just look at that, oh my god. Not pretty, but hey, that's all right. The important part is that this thing is being held on to the actual cab. The next step is going to be to kind of grind these down a bit, Probably throw, well, not probably, definitely we'll throw some seam sealer on it to, you know, secure it nicely. And then once that is dried and everything, we're gonna go ahead and throw over some nice little layers of Bondo so that it looks nice and even and you cannot really tell where new floor pan was actually added on. So I will go ahead and head over to my local AutoZone, pick up some seam sealer. As you can see, I have it with the vice grips just kind of held in place. And what I want to do is, don't mind these yellow lines, that's not exactly where I will cut. But I'm gonna cut through both panels to have an even cut on both the rocker panel and the truck itself, the cab, as well as with this side. I went ahead and managed to trim it up and kind of place it and hold it still where it's supposed to be, but my mistake was that I didn't take off the inner plates from the rocker panel. So now it's just the outside shell, but it had the outside and inside trims. So it wasn't being pushed in as well, which threw off my measurements for this side. And as you can tell, it has a pretty big gap. But one, down here, it is pretty rusted out. So again, from here down, it is going to be replaced. So I'm not too concerned on this bottom part. But the upper side, what we're going to do is I cut this little plate, and this will be going on in the inside. So this will be on the inside. Sorry, this will be on the inside. And what this is going to do is it's going to be a holding backing plate. So we're going to put it from the inside again in this position. As you can see, it links this area and this area. We're gonna put some self-tap screws just to kind of hold it in place, and then drill some holes on this rocker panel right here. We're gonna drill 2 holes, and then we're gonna spot weld onto this plate so that this plate can bridge both of these two together from the top. Then we will still have this small gap, but that can be filled in with fiberglass, so that will not be an issue. And that there will kind of create some support and some linkage between these two panels. And then from here, please ignore the raggedy cuts. The grinder is kind of all over the place. It's an uncomfortable area to hold it, so that's why it looks like that. But that's all right, it's budget builds. You live and you learn. We're gonna go ahead and tack weld this as well together. And then again, kind of grind down the welds and then flush it down with some fiberglass. So then that can look nice again, and then that will pretty much kind of take care of this side. That way we can go ahead and slap back on the fender and the door and start proceeding with the other guy, or with the other side, I'm sorry. Alright guys, so I went ahead and self-tapped the little backing pad. As you can tell, it is what is now, this will now tack to this backing pad, and this will tack to this back pad. And then we'll hold this. Again, these are just temporary to hold it in place. Once it's set, we're actually gonna, like I said, actually drill a hole and tack it, or might just drag it and tack it. You know, see exactly what's the best way to approach it. But that there's gonna hold this so that this can be nice and flush and together and solid. And then this right here, which just has to get grinded down and prep for welding. So we're gonna go ahead and actually get that started. Okay, so I went ahead and grinded the backing plate, the rocker panels, and this part of the rocker panel. Went ahead and brought the welder, and we're gonna go ahead and get started on tackling those welds. You're gonna go ahead and roast me, but that's fine. I'm not gonna take it to the heart because I'm not a professional, but I went ahead and found a way to somehow get this welded on. I hammered it down so it's kind of lower than the rest. That way we can cover it with fiberglass as well as this part. And then right here's where it became a huge mess. I did just go ahead, again it's a flux welder, so I just threw as many peanuts as possible so that it holds. Again, hammered it down because as long as it's holding and it's welded, the fiberglass will cover that up. The only area that I wasn't able to go ahead and weld is this right here. And that's because I want to get like, I need to get like a thin belt sander to kind of get this and expose this metal, and then kind of push it in so it makes contact so that we can weld it. As well as with down here, might have to put some plates in the inside. And there's still this issue here with these holes right here. But again, we might just bend the sheet metal enough, clamp it, close it, figure out a way to kind of patch that up, so I'm not too worried. Same with this area right here. I'm gonna find a way to go ahead and maybe make this look prettier. Maybe trim the sheet metal, cut it down. I'm gonna work something out, you know. But that's not gonna stay like that forever. Again, it's just temporary. I did kind of go through a little extra with my grinder, but again, that is all temporary. We are thinking about upgrading our welder so that it's not as messy and it gets cleaner welds. But again, right now, I'm just kind of getting an idea of how the things go. It's my first time doing it, so I'm not too concerned, not too worried. Plus, this truck needs tons and tons of work, so I know it's not gonna be perfect on the first try. But yeah, that pretty much covers the floor pan and the rocker panel, and hopefully we can get and tackle the other side sometime very soon.